Hey everybody, it's Austin Ward for Lettermen Row, back with the BuckIQ. For the first time, we've got Jalyn Holmes, current Minnesota Vikings, former Rushmen standout. He's breaking down himself, talking a little bit about what Coach Larry Johnson does for you guys. First of all, Jalyn, welcome in. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Thanks for having me.
Representing the Vikings, the Buckeyes, and how she gonna eat.
Yeah.
The company going. So, looking at your film, successful first year there with the Vikings, got a sack. How did the transition go? How much does Coach J get you guys ready for what the next level is going to be like?
Just breaking down old linemen. I feel like that's one of the great things Coach J do for us. He always talks about how to prepare for the week and just learning how to stop the run. That's the first thing, and just using our hands and always using our technique.
I was looking at this, and I know I've talked with him before about how Coach Johnson doesn't like the spin move. Mm-hmm. And I remember in the Senior Bowl, you stood out by unleashing one. Mm-hmm. We go through that toolbox. He didn't teach you that, right? Where do those come from?
I think that's just something I just did in high school, and he kind of helped me with it a little bit, even though he didn't like teaching it. But it's just something I just always did, and I just couldn't never get away from it. I mean, I still use it to this day.
There you go.
So I mean, it's a part of me. It's a part of my game. So I mean, he didn't necessarily always like to teach it, but when it worked, he ain't tripped.
You can't complain about the results there, but we got some other moves here. Jalyn Holmes wrapping up his senior year with a couple sacks. We'll break those down, and his first one last year with the Minnesota Vikings right here on BuckIQ. So let's roll the tape. All right, Jalyn, I'm sure that you remember this one. All your clips, we're not going to really need to rehash it much for you, but this was such a big play, such a meaningful game. What is it about Coach J's technique that gets you set up here in this Rushmen package?
Well, just a situation. We know the type of quarterback that we're playing against, Trey McSorley. He's known for using his feet as well.
Right.
That way was killing us a little bit earlier. And I actually missed a sack just like this earlier in the game. He slipped right through my hands, but I know 70, he really couldn't move his feet really too well, so I kind of shaked and baked and then went back to power. So I kind of used a little bit of speed and converted back to power at the end and just used, after that, I can't tell you what I did after that. It was just one of those moments where, I blinked and then I sacked him. It just was. This is probably my favorite moment in my career, really, at Ohio State.
I remember, after this ended, you guys, it seemed like every member of the Rushmen got to make a play in this game as part of that comeback.
Yeah.
And you celebrate here, obviously. You guys all seemed really emotional and fired up, and it was just a special night.
Yeah, it was. Just that whole game had so much emotion. We let it go the year before with them with the whole field goal and all that. And it's crazy, I actually teammates with the guy who held. Yeah, we actually good friends now. We talk about it all the time, but that game.
At least you got to even it up here.
Yeah, we did. And the way we lost the year before was heartbreaking, and didn't cost us a playoff interest, but still though it was heartbreaking to lose it. You never want to lose to Penn State, but how this game was going, I think we was down about 20.
Yeah, it was
at one point.
That first half was something else.
Yeah, and they scored the first play of the game, and just a whole bunch of big-time players in this football game on both sides, on both teams. So this was just an emotional game, really.
Yeah, one of the most meaningful plays there. That's interesting to note. But last one here, you go into the Cotton Bowl. This was your last ride. I remember talking to you in the locker room afterwards about how emotional this one was for a different reason. It's the end, but you still got to show up and make a big play.
Yeah,
force a fumble here to end your career.
With this play, man, this whole game, we had fun that whole week in Dallas. It was our last time. We had a good time, and just that whole game, we were just playing together, just being us. Normally the entire defensive line group, we clown, we joke, and that's just us, how we play, and we basically just put that on the field one more time in front of, OSU fans.
When you get to this point, and it almost looks like, and maybe this isn't the matchup you're going to win. Mm-hmm. You're getting pushed a little deep. Mm-hmm. Do you have what is the feeling when you get right here? Darnold's still holding. You can still make a play. Mm-hmm. What's the mindset here?
It just was something that Coach J always told us is just keep rushing. And learning now being in the NFL, a lot of moves you're not going to win with your first move. You're going to win with your second or your third. And I just kept rushing, and that's one of the main drills we worked on every day was a script sack, and just shooting for that arm, because you don't necessarily have to tackle him to get a sack. If you take that arm away right there, that's a sack now and a fumble. So we work on that every day. Every day since Coach J's been at Ohio. Since I've been at Ohio State, that's something we do after every drill.
Yeah, you can't really do much more than that unless you recover the fumble yourself.
Yeah.
For the hat trick.
And then that's just that's the main line of play right there, the script sack.
Yep.
And it changes the game, and they kind of was trying to get some life a little bit. And once we got that script sack, man, that solidified the W for me.
That was the end of that. And it helped propel you then into combine season, everything else, getting signed. And then here we go. First NFL sack of your career. What works here?
Same thing. So just got him upfield, use speed, and then just countered with power inside. So as soon as I seen his head outside of mine, I just countered inside with power, armed over, and just, like I said, at that point too, kind of like, it just kind of happened at that point.
I think I've heard that before from Coach Jay or Urban. It's training takes over. You're not really thinking that much about it. Do you find that everything you're using here is the same? Have you expanded that toolbox? Are you just still everything you learned at Ohio State is being applied right here on this one play? Yeah,
a lot of things I learned at Ohio State has been applied, and then I'm blessed to be with a great defensive line coach at Minnesota Vikings too, and they kind of teach similar training tactics. So. Same thing, man, just getting off the ball, shoulders over toes, get a good long arm with my speed, and I just counter. And even at the Minnesota Vikings, we always talk about just making that second or third move to actually get that sack. Because not all the time you're going to beat the guy completely clean because, shoot, they get paid too. So these guys, and that's actually one of their best linemen with the Jets last year. So I know I had to get him upfield, and I know he was sitting kind of shallow in the pocket, and I just armed over, came down.
How good does it feel to get that first one out of the way?
It felt good. It felt real good. It was like, it kind of went off my shoulder, man, because it was game like 6 or 7. I was like, I gotta get a sack this year, like, you know what I mean? So, and I actually missed one similar like this in Detroit, and I'm still eating at me.
Well, hopefully this is the first of many. We saw what Jalyn Holmes could do with those Rushmen in Ohio State. Now he's got a taste of it in the NFL with the Vikings. Always great to get some of that insight from one of those guys, those Rushmen. We appreciate Jalyn Holmes coming in to break himself down. A rare one here on Lettermen Row BuckIQ. For Jalyn, I'm Austin Ward. We'll see you next time.